The winter months in the Northeast are often frigid. The prolonged cold temperatures lead to ice development. While ice can be dangerous while going about our day-to-day life, it generally is beneficial on the Great Lakes.
People like to skate, play hockey, ice fish. There can also be a benefit in terms of reduced erosion.
Water levels are down and the ice is in. We have a pretty easy year out there. If we have a high water level year, if we have a lot of ice or no ice, then we see it on the beaches. There's heavier erosion.
Knowing how important ice can be in limiting erosion, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, in conjunction with the Great Lakes Environmental Research Laboratory and other federal agencies, can monitor how quickly ice sets up on the Great Lakes.
In the fall, the temperature can cool, on the order of maybe like 5 degrees a month. But that last 4 degrees, going from 4 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius, can happen quite rapidly in the course of a week or so.
There's plots showing the maximum ice coverage for each and every single year going back to the 1970s. There's a lot of historic information. You can compare it with current conditions. Environment Canada does very detailed ice maps as far as what's still open water, ice thicknesses, ice concentration.
Having that information is key, especially when monitoring Lake Erie and the Niagara River, waterways that are used for navigation, but also as a power supplier to a lot of the Northeast in Canada. An ice boom, a series of steel pontoons connected that looks like Lake Erie's necklace, helps to control how and where ice sets up when it forms.
As ice starts to come up against the boom, instead of small pieces of ice flowing down the Niagara River, those small pieces of ice are trapped behind the boom and then they consolidate much more quickly. And then they're a nice, strong, stable ice cover. And that helps reduce the amount of ice that goes downstream overall, and the primary purpose is to prevent ice jams at the power intakes.
Once ice develops and thickens up enough, the Corps of Engineers sends out what's called an ice wing flight. While it certainly is fun, it's not just a joyride. Employees are working hard while in the air and on the ground.
We sketch out what the ice looks like. Is it mostly open water with a few icebergs? Is it ice that is very thin and you can see through it? Is it very thick ice cover? And if so, does it look like it's a whole bunch of pieces or solid ice? Does it look more like the crushed ice coming from your freezer, or does it look more like the solid ice cubes? So we take our sketches and calculate how much ice there is, and we use that to help decide when it's appropriate to remove the ice boom.
Sadly, the last several seasons, the Great Lakes, specifically Lake Erie, has seen less ice than average. This means that coastal erosion, especially in places like Presque Isle State Park in Pennsylvania, is happening at a fast pace.
We go out every spring and do a full beach walk and do a measurement of the beaches, determine what our beach widths are and what our nourishment quantity is going to be required to meet the requirements of that project. We normally target about 38,000 cubic yards of sand per year. Those high lake levels come out with that low lake ice has had us increasing the nourishment quantities over the past 8 or 9 years just to keep up. We're not really making headway, we're just keeping up.
So remember, as it gets colder and winter tries to transform the lakes into a frozen expanse, ice can offer more than just a picturesque view. Ice helps to prevent shoreline erosion and plays a crucial role in maintaining the region's natural balance.